A very good evening to you at 7 p.m. this evening, opening up the ordinary council meeting for the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder here at the Kalgoorlie Town Hall for the 19th of August. On behalf of the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land on which we meet tonight. I'd also like to pay my respects to elders past and present. Can I please ask you to stand and remove your hats if you are wearing one? There's no one in the gallery with a hat tonight, which is great. Our prayer tonight is to be conducted by Pastor Bill Kirkland from the Oasis Australian Christian Church. Pastor.
Yeah, Heavenly Father, I thank you for the freedom we have here. I thank you, Lord, for our CEO, our Mayor, our councillors that give their time. Thank you for the council workers. Just pray that you'd bless them, their families. Father, your word declares that righteousness exalts a nation, Lord. A sin is a reproach. I pray, Father God, that the decisions made on behalf of the people would be for their betterment and that your blessing would be upon each person making decisions. You'd bless their families and this place would continue to be a great place to live, Lord, for many people from many lands. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Master. Cheers. Thank you. Please take a seat. I will now read the disclaimer for tonight's meeting. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and streamed live on the Council's website in accordance with the City's public participation in Council meeting policy, which can be viewed on Council's website. All reasonable care is taken to maintain your privacy. However, as a visitor in the public gallery, your presence may be recorded. By remaining in the public gallery, it is assumed your consent is given if your image is broadcast. Recommendations contained in this agenda are officers' recommendations only and should not be acted upon until Council has resolved to adopt those recommendations. The resolution of Council should be confirmed by perusing the minutes of the Council meeting at which these recommendations were considered. Members of the public should also note that they act at their own risk if they enact any resolution prior to receiving official written notification of Council's decision. Our record of attendance tonight, in the chambers we have Councillor Bodica. Good evening to you, Councillor Bodica. Without the crutches, the mend for the knee is on the improve, which is great. Councillor Winner, who's got a sprightly blue shirt on, or with blazer on tonight. Councillor Johnson, good evening to you. Councillor O'Donnell here, present. Thank you very much. Greetings. Councillor Brownlee's not here this evening. Councillor Turner, good evening to you. And Councillor Viskovich, a very good evening to you. Good evening to you, Mr CEO. Joining me to my left, Director of Community Development, Mia Hicks is here tonight. Director of Engineering, Louis Camporelli. Acting Director of Development and Growth, Paul Lees. Acting Director of Corporate and Commercial, Alexander Nichols. Executive Manager of Finance, Sandra Kerno, is here with us tonight. We're joined by Executive Manager of Governance and Risk Services, Francis Liston, Governance Officer, Jamie Boyes. Kush, he's here with our IT tonight, and also Head of Marketing, Pia Timo. We have no visitors, and we do have several visitors who are in the chamber with us tonight, and also members of the press. Councillors, we also have the Deputy Mayor who is via phone. Can I have a motion, please, to accept the Deputy Mayor to join us via phone? Moved by Councillor Viskovich, seconded by Councillor Bodica. Any discussion? None, thank you. Carried 7-0. And Deputy Mayor, good evening to you.
Good evening.
A little bit of a delay. As mentioned, an apology from Councillor Brownlee tonight. No leave of absence this evening. There is no response to previous public questions taken on notice. 6.1, public access for this evening. We have 3 opportunities for members of the public to address us via public access. The first tonight, representing the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association and resident of Kalgoorlie-Boulder, is Robert Tagliaferri, addressing our meeting tonight in regards to item 15.1.1, the request for additional financial support for the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association. Mr Tagliaferri, if you'd like to come forward to the podium. Thank you very much. Just before you do commence, you have 3 minutes to address Council tonight. Comments, statements and ideas can be presented. Questions from councillors and questions from presenters are not permitted. And also you have signed the declaration to understand that this evening. Mr Tagliaferri, thanks for joining us. Your 3 minutes starts now. Sorry, I'll just get you to put your microphone. We might need to warm it up for a couple of seconds. No, not to lift it up. You've got to warm it up. It's not on yet. Here we go.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead. I'll restart your 3 minutes.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to just talk about my letter and my correspondence. Also, I just want to acknowledge my appreciation to the Council for the support for the basketball redevelopment. The stadium is an amazing project and it's proceeding really, really well. It's going to be a real showpiece for Kalgoorlie. Obviously, funding is tight. One of the issues we have is the car park, which was never part of our actually funding an application to state, federal or at local government, but became part of our building permit. We're getting to the pointy end of the project. We have to deliver a car park which never sat on our lease, and I'm not sure if it sits on our lease, our current lease and our U lease, I have no idea about, but we have to deliver a car park. So we chose to actually proceed and undertake the earthworks ourselves at $256,000, and we'll most probably take the concreting work ourselves as well. The resurfacing is a challenge, and we'll have to look at how we do that if we have no council support, but that's really up to the council, and I appreciate that's a decision for you. In relation to that, we'll continue to value engineer the project as best we possibly can to get a great result for the community. And if you've ever seen any pictures of it lately, it's looking fantastic. In relation to the self-supporting loan, I really, at this stage, would like, if possible, because we're a community not-for-profit organisation, we have a number of outstanding programs that we deliver, including NBL1. We're going to have to hire a stadium manager as well. The cost to increase the self-supporting loan is not something that we can support. In fact, we prefer to reduce it. However, we know once again that's a decision for council and we appreciate that. So basically there's my points from the letter, and it's for consideration of council.
Thank you, Mr Tagliaferri, for your presentation tonight. That item is part of tonight's proceedings. 15.11 on our agenda. Thank you. Our next public access tonight comes from Chris Devlin, who joins us tonight to discuss Kalgoorlie trading hours. Chris, if you'd like to make your way to the podium again. 3 minutes, and comments, statements and ideas can be presented. Questions are not permitted. You've signed the paper. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr Mayor and councillors. Thanks for the opportunity to speak this evening. I do have a vested interest in trading hours, as you all know, but it means I have a thorough understanding and a passion about retail in Kalgoorlie. I'll attempt to share with you a bit of relevant information to assist you in making informed decisions. Kalgoorlie trades for 80 hours a week. Perth Metro trades for 80 hours per week. Geraldton, that just put in additional trading hours, trades for 80 hours a week. But our hours are in fact better than what Perth has. We've made the correct decision along the way with the hours that we've put in place. Perth opens at 8 and trades till 9 p.m. every weeknight. Closing at 9 o'clock creates more antisocial behaviour. Our hours are 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. That's smarter hours to work with. We've only got 9 p.m. on Thursday. Perth trades 8 to 5 on Saturday. We trade 7 to 6, 2 hours more than Perth. And on Sunday, Perth trades 11 to 5. We trade 8 to 3, 1 more hour than Perth. And that way people on a Sunday actually get to have some of the afternoon and the evening to spend time with family and friends. Online shopping didn't exist in 2019 when extended hours trading and Sunday first came up. Now you can get online shopping from Coles and Woolies from 5 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. at night. The key point about what happened in 2019 with extended trading, there was thousands and thousands of posts on social media. There was pages and pages in the Kalgoorlie Miner and on the ABC talking about extended trading hours. There was a passion for it. Everyone wanted it. Now, in the Kalgoorlie Miner, their Facebook page, they talked about this agenda item tonight. They had 9 responses. That's all it garnished. There's minimal, basically no interest. There's a couple of points I'd like to make reviewing the report. Sunday trading in March 2019, there has been an increase in foot traffic, vibrancy, local spending, Kalgoorlie, benefiting local cafes, restaurants, smaller retailers. Well, Dome's closed in that time since we put extended trading in, and there's more shops closed in the main street now than there was in 2019. The beneficiaries have been Woolies and Coles. Changing trading hours has a significant impact on small to medium retailers. A decision on this matter shouldn't be taken lightly. The survey took 3 weeks. We got 351 responses. That's 1% of the population. That's one plane load of people. 149 people, 0.5%, wanted more hours on a Sunday. That's half a plane load of people. So how can we make such a big decision based on half a plane load of people wanting more hours? To put it another way, 99.5% of the population are happy with what they got. The top response was 42.45%. That was for a few extra hours on Sunday, but the officer's recommendation was option 3 at 37. In summary, our hours are equal to Perth, but we have smarter opening times. Bunnings recently reduced hours. The only reason they reduce hours is because there's not the demand for the hours that they open. You can get groceries between 5 and 11, 7 days a week. The more you extend trading hours, the more you take away from Hannon Street, as neither Coles nor Woolies are located in the main street. So it just exacerbates the problem we have in Hannon Street. And don't forget the ripple effect. Local businesses support local businesses. We support Kruger Thai, Hannon Street Bakery, Goldfields Hot Bread Shop, and we donated $342,000 to Food Bank last year. Thanks for the opportunity to present this evening. I hope this assists with your deliberations. Please feel free to contact me anytime to discuss retailing in Kalgoorlie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Devlin. Using up your full time. Well done. Our next public access tonight is from Kathy Smith. Kathy, if you'd like to come forward again, 3 minutes. Comment statement ideas can be presented. Questions are not permitted. And I don't have your signed piece of paper, but I'll take it that there was one presented to our staff today. There was. Excellent. Thank you, Kathy.
I emailed it. Hi, I'm Kathy Smith. I own Hannon's Marketplace in Piccadilly Street. I have to. Chris said it pretty much everything that I wanted to say. I don't understand why this keeps coming up. I want to ask Mr Mayor and the councillors why we keep having this opening hours and questioned. We're all in business here. We all want to make Kalgoorlie work. I personally voted for a new mayor and new councillors so that we could have a lot of change in Kalgoorlie, and filling the shops in Hannon Street would be one of the changes. We need innovative ideas to put Kalgoorlie. I mean, Kalgoorlie is always going to be on the map, but to put Kalgoorlie, to have Kalgoorlie as a fantastic place to live for all our locals, for all our tourists that come here. Walking down the street in 1998, when I visited Kalgoorlie, it was a vibrant precinct. Walking down the street doesn't give me any joy whatsoever. There is nothing in Hannon Street that makes this place vibrant. And I think that maybe we all need to have a look at what we can bring to Kalgoorlie, what we can do in Kalgoorlie to make it better than what it is today. And extending trading hours, like Chris has said, we've all got the same trading hours in Western Australia. Nothing's, in Perth, Geraldton, Kalgoorlie, we've all got the same number of trading hours. If people can't shop at Woolworths and Coles in those times, then they have a problem. My business is open from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you can't get a 2 litre milk or a loaf of bread or some lollies or whatever you choose to have, then there is something terribly wrong. You do not need extended trading hours. We bring in three times a week fresh fruit and veggies. No one could complain about not having freshness in this town. So I say to you, why do we need extended trading hours? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Smith. They are our public access councillors for tonight, 3 of those. Public question time. I did have some questions submitted by Mr Coulston of Boulder. I've spoken to Mr Coulston in regards to his questions and have rejected those questions for tonight. I'll be following that up with him separately. Thank you, Mr Coulston. I just mentioned Boulder for you just then. Thank you. Item 7, petitions, deputations, presentations. There are nil this evening. Notations of interest. There are pages. Please bear with me. Councillors might want to be on your best alert here because we have got financial interests all over the page and also impartiality. We'll start off with the impartiality. Councillor Turner, you've declared an impartiality in item 15.1.1, the request for additional financial support for the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association. Your son works for the contractor running the project. Councillor Viskovich, you have declared an impartiality interest also in the KBBA as you are a president of a club that uses the facility. No other impartialities, councillors, tonight? Thank you. Covered. Financials. Financial interests for 8.2. I've declared a financial interest in 15.1.1, request for additional financial support to the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association. I am a paid commentator for the KBBA and Goldfields Giants. I've also declared a financial interest in item 15.1.4, the overdue debtors report. As of the 30th of April 2024, I am an honorary member of one of the debtors. The Deputy Mayor has declared a financial interest in 15.1.4 overdue debtors report as at the 30th of April 2024, as her husband is a member of a debtor. Also declaring an interest in a financial interest in Kalgoorlie trading hours 15.2.1 as she owns and operates a small business. And the Deputy Mayor has also submitted a financial for told you I had pages. Item 15.2.6, the KBCCI Activate KB sponsorship, as the Deputy Mayor owns and operates a business in the activation location. Item 15.1.4, Councillor Bodica has declared a financial interest in the overdue debtors report as at the 30th of April. She is a member of the debtors. Councillor Bodica has also declared a financial interest in 15.1.1, the request for additional financial sponsorship for the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association as her work has a sponsors box at the basketball stadium. Councillor Bodica has also declared a financial interest in item 15.2.1, the Kalgoorlie trading hours of financial interest as a retailer. And also Councillor Bodica has declared a financial interest in 15.2.6, the KBCCI Activate sponsorship, as she's a member of the KBCCI. All present and correct, Councillor Bodica, for you. Thank you. Councillor Johnson has declared a financial interest in item 15.1.4, overdue debtors report as of the 30th of April 2024, as being a member of the debtor. A debtor, I should say. Correct, Councillor Johnson, no further? Councillor Brownlee is not here tonight. Councillor O'Donnell, you don't have any declarations? Clean record for you tonight. Councillor Turner has a financial interest in item 15.1.4, the overdue debtors report as at the 30th of April. Councillor Turner's husband is a member of 2 debtors. Councillor Turner, was there any others? No, thank you. Councillor Viskovich has a financial interest in 15.1.4, the overdue debtors report, as she has sold tickets on behalf of a debtor. Councillor Viskovich has a financial interest in item 15.2.2, the Hannon's Outline Development Plan, as a proximity interest and financial interest living in the area. I'll take it as a proximity, Councillor Viskovich. There's also a financial interest in item 15.2.6, the KBCCI sponsorship, as the Councillor Viskovich is a member of KBCCI. Have I covered those for you, Councillor Viskovich? I'll leave that proximity out. And then mention it under 8.3 that you have a proximity interest in 15.2.2, proposed amendment number 2 to the Hannon's Outline Development Plan as you live in the area. Governance, we're all clear with those? Got them all? Excellent, there was a lot tonight. Item 9, applications for leave of absence. Councillor Winner didn't have a declaration either. Item 9, applications for leave of absence. I have received one from Councillor Bodica from the 7th of the 11th to the 18th of the 11th overseas for a conference for her business. Do we have a mover to accept that? Sorry, just before I do ask for a mover, any other leave of absence, councillors? No. Mover for Councillor Bodica. Councillor Johnson moved. Seconded, Councillor Turner. No further discussion? Enjoy your conference, Councillor Bodica. Passed 8-0. Item 9.2, procedural motion to suspend 9.1 of the standing orders of local law. Can I have a mover for the procedural? Thank you, Councillor Viskovich. Seconder for that, Councillor Johnson. No dissent, councillors. You wish to sit down tonight and discuss tonight's meeting? Excellent. Carried 8-0. Councillors, refer to the screen announcements by the person presiding without discussion. They may be available for you there. They were also sent to you with some extra discussion points earmarked. I'd just like to go over probably a couple of those. Councillors, thanks for attending the council workshop with Joel Levin across the 22nd and the 23rd of July. Very much overdue, but very much I think we got things out of that, councillors, and some good understanding of some of our big projects and how we go about that. I'd like to draw your attention, councillors, to the tree planting day on the 28th of July, and I think there was over 400 people that attended the tree planting day. Most were there because we opened up the playground for Kalgoorlie, which is the nature playground there. So well done there. I planted 4 trees that day, just for the record. Councillor Viskovich was there too. Did you plant any trees, Councillor Viskovich? Yes. I'd like to acknowledge our staff, Dione Johnson, Louis Camporelli, and our CEO, Andrew Bryan. All 3 were represented at the Walgett Local Government Awards on the 2nd of July. Congratulations to all 3 on their awards presented, and we appreciate your service to the City of Kalgoorlie-Boulder. Further to that, the 5th of August, Senator Fatima Payman also met with us, so too the Honourable Peter Dutton, and we had a concept forum. I'd like to thank the Deputy Mayor for chairing both of those meetings, one also at short notice, so thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Further to that, last week we had the Deputy Mayor in Canberra, also representing Council. Again, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I attended the funeral for Brian Osmedi, and very lovely funeral to attend. He's done a lot in the bowling circles, for football, through business, and was the go-to man for Windsor Knots in Kalgoorlie-Boulder from his Ardagh business as well. So it was very lovely to attend that, and our condolences to the Osmedi family as well. And councillors have also commenced one-on-one meetings with you as well, as noted. Item 11, confirmation of minutes. Minutes of the ordinary council meeting on the 22nd of July be confirmed as a true record of that meeting. Any discussion from that? Sorry, a mover first of all. Councillor Viskovich moving that. Seconder for that. Councillor Winner. Any discussion on the minutes, councillors? No discussion? No dissent? Carried 8-0. There are no motions of which previous notice has been given. Urgent business approved by the person presiding or by decision. Mr CEO, no business to attend to tonight? No, thank you. Item 14, reports of committees. Councillors will move the en blocs as per committee reports and also officer reports. So first of all, our first en bloc for tonight covers 14.11, 14.12, 14.14, and 14.15. These are the items from our Strategic and General Purpose Committee held on the 30th of July. Noting that item 14.13 has been pulled from that. Do I have a mover for the committee en bloc? Move Councillor Winner. Seconded Councillor O'Donnell. Thank you. No dissent, councillors? Those reports carried 8-0. Item 14.13. Corporate performance reporting, councillors. A mover for the officer recommendation. In fact, a committee recommendation. Thank you very much, Councillor Viskovich moving. Seconder. Councillor O'Donnell. Councillor Viskovich, you wish to speak? No, Councillor O'Donnell wish to speak. Councillors, any further discussions? None. No dissent, councillors? That is carried 8-0. We'll move to the reports of officers, and councillors will move these on block as well, these particular numbers. 1512, which is accounts payable for July 2024. 1513, which is the statement of financial activity for June 2024. 1523 is the proposed home business hairdresser salon on Lot 5, Hare Street, Lamington, 96. That's number 96, Hare Street, Lamington. 1524, which is the extension of time to substantially commence development to Lodging House 1, Porter Street, Kalgoorlie. 1525, which is the Public Health Plan Annual Progress Report, and 1531, the awarding of tender T027-2324, supply and installation of pavement markings and bollards. Councillors, can I have a mover of those recommendations, please, that they are included in the en bloc? Councillor O'Donnell moved. Seconder for that? Councillor Winner. No dissent on that being moved en bloc. Thank you. Those items are all passed 8-0. Item 1511, the request for additional financial support for the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association. Mr. CEO, I have declared a financial interest and will depart. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Bodick has also declared a financial interest. Councillor Turner has an impartiality and Councillor Viskovich has an impartiality as well. Over to you, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the Mayor has declared a financial interest and left the room, the Deputy Mayor would normally take over the presiding officer's role. However, given the Deputy Mayor cannot see everyone in the chamber, it's appropriate to call for an alternate councillor to sit in and chair this section of the meeting. Councillors? Councillor Winner.
Thanks to the council.
Thanks, Dave. So we'll move straight into item 15.1.1, which is the request for additional financial support, Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association. There is an officer's recommendation. However, I have proposed an alternative motion, which will be displayed on the screen. The alternative motion is that the item is brought back to the next available council briefing workshop in which the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association can meet with councillors to discuss the request for support in more detail. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor O'Donnell. I have nothing to add to that. Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Yes, this is a very good motion. I thoroughly support it and would like to hear more from the basketball board themselves, and especially as everything's nearly finished and now we're talking about a car park, so we'd like to hear more. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Donnell. Do I have anyone would like to speak for the motion? Councillor Turner.
So yes, I'd like to support this alternate motion, not only to hear from the Basketball Association. I'd also like to hear from our council officers and our staff if there would be any impact on our budget and our financial planning going forward if we were to support the Basketball Association in this. Bearing in mind we recently approved a very high budget, but it was a very tight budget. So even though we have had a substantial increase in rates, that budget was very tight. And whilst I'm not for or against what the Basketball Association's put here, I would very much like to hear from our officers as well as from the Basketball Association. So I'd like to hear from all parties because I think I could make a better informed decision as a councillor to be able to do that.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Anyone would like to speak against the motion? For the motion, Councillor Johnson.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Winner. The chair of the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association did, in a letter that sent to us, asked if he could meet with us to work through this, and it's good to see that we're actually going to go and do that. We were left a little bit high and dry, I think, before, without the extra information I'm sure that Rob Tagliaferri can provide to us. So I definitely support this, and it'll be good to sit around the table and flesh this out, because we're not only dealing with financial stuff here, we're dealing with the JDAP application as well, and also some compliance issues that we do need to resolve before we progress this.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. A speaker against? A speaker for? Speaker against? Mover has right of reply, which I will take up. I'd like to thank the councillors that did speak on this item, and I do concur with their comments. I think it's important that we as a council, before we are making the decisions and imposing conditions onto a community group such as the Kalgoorlie-Boulder Basketball Association, that we are meeting and speaking with them. So it's really clearly understood where they're at, where their capabilities at, and where the council can play a role potentially assisting in this moving forward. With that, so we'll put this item up for vote, and this is for the alternative motion. All those in favour? And that, Deputy Mayor? Yeah. And that's passed 6-0. With that, we'll invite Councillor Bodica and the Mayor back into the room.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. An alternate motion was moved and carried 6-0, which was to defer the matter pending a roundtable discussion with the Kalgoorlie Basketball Association.
Thank you, Mr CEO. Item 15.14, overdue debtors report as of the 30th of April 2024. Now, councillors, you would have heard, and anyone who's tuned in tonight would have heard, that there are several financial interests in this particular matter. Mr CEO, just before we ask some councillors to depart the table, can you please just give an overview of this particular item first?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillors, this item's been listed a number of times, initially at the committee and then subsequently at council. Each time the matter's been listed, due to the disclosure of interest, we haven't been able to consider the matter formally. Following the last ordinary meeting, where we could not obtain a quorum, a request was put into the Department of Local Government to enable disclosing members to participate. The department considered all the disclosures of interest that were provided and have given a list of councillors who are now able to participate in the meeting tonight, which is just sufficient to enable us to have a quorum, which is why some councillors who disclosed still are not able to participate. It was a decision by the Department of Local Government, not by officers of council.
Thank you, Mr CEO. The exemptions apply to Councillor Turner, the Deputy Mayor, and also myself. Councillor Bodica, your financial interest will have you departing the room. Councillor Johnson, your financial interest will have you departing the room. And Councillor Viskovich, your financial interest will have you departing the room. So, councillors affected, can I please get you to depart? Sorry, Councillor Bodica. Noting that the councillors have departed at 7:33 p.m. Councillors, I believe we have an amended motion to what was presented. Councillor Winner.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I would like to propose an amended motion. That amended motion is to retain items 1 and 2, but have a, whoops, sorry, I've lost my spot. A amended point 3, which would read, request the CEO to meet with the appropriate representative of both Debitor B and Debitor R in an effort to implement a payment plan to clear the outstanding debts, and an addition of item 4, which is in the event that the CEO is unable to reach an acceptable payment plan by the end of September 2024, endorse the CEO's proposed actions in accordance with the Council's debt collection policy.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Seconder for that, Councillor O'Donnell. Can I just check that the Deputy Mayor is still there, Deputy Mayor? Yep, thank you. Just to make sure that we've still got a quorum. Go ahead, councillor Winner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I feel this amended motion better allows the city CEO to work through some of the complexities that are involved with these two debtors in particular, and to assist the city and the community to come to a fair resolution. It does provide the opportunity to work out a way to work with the two debtors prior to coming to that final point where we do enact the council's debit collection policy. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Winner. Councillor O'Donnell, you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, regarding debtor reference B, we're talking about $182,000, and because it's going through council, the interpretation is that this is a council.
Councillor O'Donnell, I'll just refer you to that. The debtors are still to remain
Yes.
confidential.
Yes, not mention them.
Thank you.
Yes. But I support this motion because I'd like to see that the group of people who run reference B are aware of what is going on, and it's a state government issue, not a council issue. We're enforcing state government policy in regarding to water.
Point of order with you, councillor O'Donnell. I believe you've probably got two parts of a matter confused there, so I'll just leave you there on your discussion points.
Okay, and I'm now done.
Thank you, councillor O'Donnell. Speaker 4, councillor Turner.
I'd like to speak in favour of the motion, but just had a point of clarification as well. By allowing the CEO to be able to hopefully meet with these debtors and get to a resolution that hopefully we can resolve satisfactorily, we're not going to be breaching any council policy. Is that okay? That's just a point of clarification.
Sure,
first.
I'll take your question, Mr. CEO.
Yeah, thank you, through the Mayor. The wording of the alternate motion indicates that I'm to enter into an appropriate payment plan to recover the debt. It's not waiving the debt at this point in time. In the event we can't enter into a payment plan that's satisfactory to meet council and community expectation, then we will go down the debt collection policy line, which includes legal action.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. There was just a question at this point.
Yep.
You wish to speak for?
Yes, I definitely wish to speak for the motion. It's good that we have had some clarification and we can actually start to get to hopefully some resolution, because it's been some time consuming getting to this point. It's always better to see if we can resolve these things amicably and get to a satisfactory resolution, because the legal action is always the last course of action that anyone wants to take, and it's also costly for all parties, and so that adding to those costs do not help contribute to reducing those debts. So yeah, I very much support the motion.
Thank you, councillor Turner. Speaker 4? Speaker against? There's only a couple of us, isn't there? And the Deputy Mayor hasn't spoken. I'll speak for the motion. Thank you, councillor Winner, for bringing this one. And as pointed out, councillor Turner, from your discussion points there, this gives us an appropriate course of action to have a discussion in some more detail regarding this matter. Thank you, councillor Winner, to close off debate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I'd like to thank the councillors around the table for their comments and echo them as well. I think it's important that the city is continuing to look at ways to provide assistance to our community to ensure that we're not coming in with the big stick, as they say, and just expecting payments to be made immediately, but looking at ways that are more proactive and a little bit more reasonable to assist our community to meet their requirements from there. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Winner. I will put it to a vote for this particular motion. Those in favour for the particular motion, please raise your hand. Councillor, as Deputy Mayor, do you wish to vote for or against? For. Thank you. Carried 5-0. Thank you, staff. May we have Councillor Johnson and Councillor Viskovich back. Councillor Bodica has declared a financial interest in 1521. The Deputy Mayor has declared a financial interest in 1521. So I'll terminate Councillor Bodica's, the Deputy Mayor's call. Goodbye, Councillor, Deputy Mayor. Goodbye. Deputy Mayor has left the meeting at 7:40 p.m. Councillor Bodica stays out with her interest. There were no other financial interests apart from those two councillors regarding this one. Councillors, 15 to 1, Kalgoorlie trading hours. Mr CEO, I'm led to believe we may have an amendment to this particular motion. Is that correct at this point in time?
Through you, Mr Mayor, we have an alternate motion. We also have a foreshadowed motion and the officer's recommendation.
As there is an alternate motion, I'll take the alternate motion. Just to confirm, the alternate motion is the motion that was presented to council last week by staff. Has that become the alternate?
That's one of the alternate. Councillor Johnson also has an alternate motion.
Okay. Noting that council has already received that alternate from staff. Councillor Johnson, do you wish to move your alternate motion? Can't move a foreshadowed motion without an alternative. So in that instance, would you like to move the officer recommendation, or which is the alternative motion as presented? This is a little bit confusing, councillor, so I'll get that. At the moment, our staff presented an original motion to us. That was the original officer recommendation. That was then changed, as you were aware, last week at the agenda briefing, which enabled the words to come out of the original motion, which was hardware stores, I believe. There we go. That was the amendment that's presented to you on the screen was the alternative recommendation, or the amendment by staff. If you wish to move that amendment, we've got the officer recommendation first of all. Councillor Winner to move the officer recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Turner. Therefore, we are moving the alternative recommendation as provided by staff. It's noted as an amendment. It is an alternative recommendation. And that was only just the slight change to item 2 of the original officer recommendation. Councillor Winner. Noting that there is a foreshadowed motion on the table and also an alternative as well. This is going to get exciting. Councillor Winner, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think this will be quite a long debate, which is as it rightly should be, because it's an important issue for our community. It's important to make clear that this motion is not about making businesses have to open for more hours. It's about providing choice to businesses, to our community and to visitors to our city. Councillors, I believe that we need to be proactive in removing barriers to developing and attracting business if we want to provide the opportunity for businesses to grow, to attract new business and have the opportunity to develop a more open, accessible and vibrant community. This, for me, is the first step of many in achieving this, and it is, in my opinion, a critical step. We want our community to be open for business, and providing the opportunity for businesses to operate in a time and way they choose assists in this. Again, businesses can choose not to open or not. I don't believe that we as a council should be placing restrictions on businesses in making the most of opportunities as they so wish. Not everyone will extend their hours, and that's okay. And I'd love to see the city look at ways to support our businesses move forward towards this. But the officer's recommendation, or as we now know is an amended recommendation, allows people the choice to operate in the way they choose, either to carry on as they have or to try something new. Our community deserves the opportunity to be bold, as we have advertised for so many years, and to do business in their way. This motion allows our community to self-regulate and the hours that work for our city to be achieved and obtained by the people and businesses themselves. This item is one in which we should be supporting and encouraging. There have been times in the past that I believe consultation has been requested, received, and then not form a part of the decision-making process. And I hope that, given the received feedback, is that our community wants further extended hours in some shape or form, that we as a council listen to this by allowing and trusting our businesses to make their choice of what works for them and what opportunities they wish to take up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Councillor Turner, you're the seconder of that particular motion.
Yes, so I seconded the motion because I believe that this motion needs to be debated out in the arena and not fall over, because we have there's been some commentary about it. So I think that everything that comes up to council, it's good that we discuss what we think openly. So I will say that trading hours are something that that they leave me torn. So two excellent presentations tonight from Chris and Kathy, and I understand where they're coming from, and they're both themselves and their businesses are very valuable make very valuable contributions to our community, not only in the support that they give the community in their community involvement, but also in actually being open so people can go and get that milk or bread like Kathy mentioned, because being open those longer hours, it can be a thankless task. What I did, I did take notice that the people speaking out against extended trading hours, like Chris said, they had a vested interest because they also open extended, so that leaves me a little bit torn as well there. I did also listen to what Chris said about 9 p.m, the antisocial behaviour. I made a point of that, so perhaps if the foreshadowed motion comes up later, I think I've got something there. But fundamentally, I'm torn about, as a local government, telling businesses that they can't open. So that's the reason I support this motion, is I don't think that we have a place to do that. I think it's up to any business, small or large, to make the decision themselves. As we've seen in other areas such as Eton in the southwest, when Kmart opened 24 hours, it was very, very short-lived. It didn't last. So I think that businesses will set that themselves and work it out very quickly that 24-hour trading is probably not viable here, given that we already have a Burt Street tourism precinct, that if a big multinational did want to come to Kalgoorlie, that we've had that for many, many years, and if they really wanted to open 24 hours, they could have gone and set up shop on the multitude of premises out there and done that, and they haven't availed that. So we have had that option and they haven't taken it up, but fundamentally I'm opposed to telling businesses when they can and can't open, so which is why I support this motion.
Councillor Turner, you've mentioned a foreshadowed motion. Can you please reveal what that foreshadowed motion is from you, please?
Okay. I'll just...
So councillors aware what the foreshadow is in terms of debate.
So the foreshadowed motion I have here, and it's quite interesting what Mr Devlin said earlier, because it does mention, I think, part of that the CEO request ministerial approval for the following hours to be implemented in Kalgoorlie-Boulder, with the exception of Burt Street, Boulder, that already has a 24-hour trading in place as a tourism precinct. Monday to Friday, the hours of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m, and then Saturday, Sunday and public holidays, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m, with the exception of Christmas Day, Good Friday and Anzac Day, which I believe have gazetted hours.
That's all right. That's it. Thank you. Councillors, that is the foreshadowed motion. You are debating the amended officer recommendation as moved by Councillor Winner. Speaker for that motion. Sorry, speaker against that motion by Councillor Winner. Councillor Johnson.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I speak against this. It's one of those ones that you can be torn whether or how that people should trade within Kalgoorlie-Boulder. This has come up through a survey of 320 people respondents, where the contributors were 351. And the item itself about unrestricted daily trading had a 37.61% just for that one line item itself, let alone 41.88% and 42.45%, reflect pretty similar to what Councillor Turner as a foreshadowed motion is up there, which I would support. So I'm looking at that there. I've got to thank Chris and I've got to thank Kathy for their information. You need to go to the coalface, you need to get these people to come in and talk to us about their knowledge within their trading. And I also think that it's important that we take on board our retailers, and we also take on board, and we should take on board the Chamber of Commerce that we have. And I see that they are absent in this, be it they may have done a survey, but I can't see that where that may be within our survey paperwork. Just to go out and put up 24-hour trading, it may sound good, but Eton got mentioned where it didn't last too long, where the Kmart closed down. But an interesting story was told to me that if 24-hour trading happened, the big companies would do it without a question. And they would push and push and push and push. And when they pushed and pushed and pushed, the smaller businesses would fall away and would get left with big companies, no little companies. The mum and dad companies would be gone, which really worries me. I will support the foreshadowed motion, I definitely won't support this one.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Speaker for? Speaker against? Speaker for? Speaker against? Before the mover has the right of reply, I won't be supporting the recommendation tonight. I believe that the foreshadowed is probably better. I look forward to hearing more debate on the foreshadowed motion. The mover has the right of reply.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I just wanted to re-highlight, I stand by the comment that I don't believe council should be telling businesses the times in which they should be operating or how they should be operating. As highlighted already around the table, Boulder already has what's outlined in this amended motion in play. Kalgoorlie-Boulder is one city, and I'd like to see this amended motion see us achieve that across Kalgoorlie-Boulder. This motion is not about how many more hours or possible 24 trading or anything like that. This motion is about providing businesses the opportunity for unrestricted trading in the way they want to. Whether or not 24-hour trading does come about will be dictated by the businesses themselves and their ability to attract employees and their desire to open. But it does provide us with opportunities to attract new business. It does also provide us an opportunity to allow for spaces to be activated in a more engaging way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Councillors, I'll put to a vote 15-1 with the amended officer recommendation that was put. Those in favour of the amended recommendation as moved by Councillor Winner, seconded by Councillor Turner, please raise your hand. Those against? The vote is lost. 5-1. 1-5, sorry, Mr. CEO. Technical. But very important. Councillors, we do have a foreshadowed motion which is there from Councillor Turner. Councillor Turner, you wish to speak to your foreshadowed motion. Sorry, before you do, can I have a seconder for that foreshadowed motion? Councillor Johnson. Councillor Turner, please speak to your foreshadowed motion.
Okay, so I'd like to thank Councillor Johnson for seconding the motion so that it can be debated. So I've thought long and hard about this. So the survey definitely said that there was an appetite for some changes to our trading hours, and probably the biggest thing that I took out of it was that people wanted some more trading hours on a Sunday. That 3 p.m. they didn't find it quite as accommodating for their needs, we'll say. However, I also took on board, interestingly enough, what Mr. Devlin said about the 9 p.m. Previously, I think that when we had we'll call it late night trading till 9 p.m. on a Thursday, it was when we didn't have those extended hours. So we didn't have the hours past 5 o'clock, and we certainly didn't have the hours on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday. So Thursday nights by tradition was the time that we had to do a little bit of extra shopping. I agree with what was presented to us about the antisocial behaviour in that time, and I feel that if we also need to streamline our trading hours. At the moment, we have 4 closing times in Kalgoorlie-Boulder, which is very confusing and can be somewhat chaotic. We have a 7 p.m. closing time on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Friday. We have a 9 p.m. closing time on a Thursday. We have a 6 p.m. closing time on a Saturday, and we have a 3 p.m. closing time on a Sunday. Of course, our smaller traders can open, if they get an exemption, whenever they want. By streamlining it to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. weekdays and then 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the weekend, we're effectively taking 2 hours off on a Thursday. We're adding 3 onto a Sunday, which we'll say for convenience. So we're having only a slight tweak, which surely with the appetite to that, and then with what the excellent services that our local independents supply in the hours before 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m, I would hope that our trading hours need and appetite is met. I also feel that 24-hour trading is probably a place that we don't need to get ourselves involved in. It should be something that the state government, of whichever persuasion it is, bites the bullet, and our political leaders can take leadership on it rather than foist it onto local governments to make those very difficult and contentious decisions.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Johnson, seconder.
Yes, thank you. And I thank Councillor Turner for her foreshadowed motion. I think what we have up there is a balance, and I think there's a win-win all over the place there. I do agree that antisocial behaviour can and is a problem that this may address, and I'm hoping it will. The 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is a great mix. And I also think the 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays, Sundays and public holidays, give ample opportunity for those within our community who do work strange and wonderful shifts to be able to go out and do their shopping. But it also allows for the building of vibrant streets, Hannon Street and Burt Street. Although we know Burt Street can be open 24 hours, Hannon Street itself, that building of vibrancy that Kathy was talking about can happen there, where we can have the population in town knowing that up until 6 p.m. they can, partake in coffees, whatever they need. But that's the choice of the owners of those businesses. I think it's a good mix, and I'm definitely supporting it.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Speaker against? Speaker for? Councillor O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. First off, a point of clarification.
You have a question. Go ahead, Councillor O'Donnell. I'll consider your question.
The foreshadowed motion, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Friday, will that prevent other businesses opening on a Thursday night traditionally?
In terms of other businesses?
Or say Woolworths and Coles, say Woolworths
they
Coles.
won't be able to open till 9?
And just a small little one in Hannon Street, they're the same?
Under the Trading Act, they may be able to, depending on what the business is.
Thank you. Another question about point of clarification.
I'll consider your question.
Monday to Friday, 7 till 7, and the Saturday, Sunday and public holiday, 7 to 6 p.m. Does 1 hour make a big difference, or is it easier to go 7 to 7?
Are you asking for the mover to seek some further details, or are you asking... I won't ask the mover now. They can clear that up in debate. What I will ask is a question. Are you asking for an amendment to the foreshadowed motion, for the mover to consider an amendment?
I'm torn there, because I'd just like to know, first off, the reason. Can I find a reason why?
No. You can, or you can do two things. You can either listen to the rest of the debate and hear if the mover covers that off as part of the closure, or you can foreshadow a motion yourself to adjust those hours.
I think I'll wait and listen to the mover, and that would be good. And my another comment, Hannon Supermarket, the marketplace, they tried 24-hour for supermarket years ago, and I think when it first started it was okay, but my opinion is if there was a market for 24 hours, Hannon's would be doing it now. I think in IG, I don't think we've got that at the moment, and I think that's a good thing. But thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing the mover. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to the right of reply. That was Speaker for. Speaker against? Speaker for. Councillor Winner.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. While the original amended motion was a definite swing for the fence, I do feel that unrestricted trading would have been the right call. I am comfortable with what is being proposed in this foreshadowed motion. Ultimately, I feel it's important for us to be finding ways to allow businesses to explore extended hours, for us to allow community greater access, and to assist in the attraction of new business opportunities for our community. So I do hope councillors do look to support this foreshadowed motion, and we can see some more opportunities for activation in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Speaker against? Speaker for? Before the mover has a right of reply, I'll support the motion. However, I would be keen if there would be an amendment, if the mover would like to move one, that it's 5 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. I will let the mover who has the right of reply cover that off. My reason for supporting it is uniformity, and as mentioned, I think we've got more time zones in Australia than what we have fluidity in our trading hours at times. But mover, if you'd like to have the right of reply and potentially cover off that.
Okay, so I'm not going to accept amending it to 5 p.m, and I'll give you the reason why. Firstly, I'll address that first, because then we would be having a reduction in our trading hours, and I don't think that was the probably the intent or the response we got from the survey. No matter how few people or how many people replied to it, they took the time to reply. And I always take, when we do community consultation, I think it's dangerous if you don't listen to it at all. So that's the reason. Now, I'll also address Councillor O'Donnell's question where he asked why we didn't make it 7 till 7 every night and just make it uniform across the board. Because on Saturday, I did think about that because it'd be very easy and then it's uniform. However, on a Saturday and a Sunday, and probably I'm going to say a public holiday, a lot of our retail workers that come in will be our casuals and our part-timers and perhaps our younger people that might work those hours. I would say that traditionally Saturday night is probably a night that they might like to partake in some entertainment activities, and perhaps 7 p.m. is a little bit late to be finishing work and getting ready. So I wanted to keep Saturday and Sunday uniform. Look, originally I would have liked to just have had it 7 till 7 every day, but I just think that on Saturdays and Sundays we need to give our retail workers a little bit of something, but I think that by taking it at 5 p.m. we're actually reducing our hours, so then we're perhaps going backwards, and I don't think that that's progressive for our city.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. I'll put a vote on the foreshadowed motion. Those in favour of the foreshadowed motion as moved by Councillor Turner, seconded by Councillor Johnson, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those against? Carried 5-1. Thank you, Councillor Turner, for your foreshadowed motion. 15.2.2. May we have Councillor Bodica, please, back in the room. Councillors, I've also had and been advised by, the CEO's been advised by the Deputy Mayor of a proximity interest to 15.2.2. So therefore the Deputy Mayor won't be joining us for 15.2.2. Councillor Viskovich, you have a proximity interest for 15.2.2. Can I please get you to leave the room? (15.2.2) is the proposed amendment number 2, Hannon's Outline Development Plan. May I have a mover for the motion, please? Moved, Councillor Turner. Seconded, Councillor Bodica. Discussion, Councillor Turner? Go ahead. Your mic's go on another mic. Use Councillor Viskovich's mic. Turn it on.
So I'd just like to move the motion as recommended by the officer. This is actually quite an important motion that we pay attention to. Things change, and this outline development plan, whilst it's been in place, it's very important that we make the necessary changes as has been recommended by the department, and have it in place for further 10 years. At the moment, this area is probably our biggest area of growth in the housing market, and the potential for people to be able to build up there, and there's quite a few changes that needed to be made to update it to reflect current planning requirements.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Bodica, you wish to speak? No. Speaker against? Speaker for? Speaker against? Speaker for? Mover, do you have the right of reply you wish to use? No, thank you. Councillors, with no dissent for item 15.2.2, I'll carry that 6-0. May we have Councillor Viskovich back into the room, please? The next item is 15.2.6. Councillor Bodica, again, you have a financial interest in this one. I'll let you depart the room, and also mention that the Deputy Mayor has not rejoined yet, who also declared a financial interest in this particular matter. Councillor Viskovich, did you have a financial in the KBCCI as well? Yes, you did. Well, thank you for re-entering, and I'll get you to leave the room again. Thank you. Sorry, that was my mistake there, Councillor Viskovich. Councillors, where are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Right. numbers all over the shop tonight. Councillors, I have a officer recommendation that's presented. Mr CEO, did we get a amendment to this? There was discussion.
Through Mr Mayor, there was discussion, but I haven't actually seen an amended
Okay, no
motion
worries.
come through.
The officer recommendation is as moved. Councillor Winner to move.
Sorry,
No.
Mr Mayor, I'd like to offer an amended motion.
Amended motion I'll take. Thank you, Councillor Winner. Go ahead.
Thank you, and it's, my apologies, I haven't finalised the wording on this one, but it's that the council approve a partnership to the KBCCIA's Activate KB as follows: 1, 10,000 cash, and 2, 10,000 in-kind support to cover the crowd control barriers, depot staffing costs, and endowment block retail.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Mr CEO, that is permissible under the grant scheme and the grants policy?
It would be consistent. Yes.
Thank you. Just noting any policy implications, Councillor Winner. Seconder for that particular motion, Councillor Johnson. Go ahead, Councillor Winner.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm proposing this amendment to the motion as I feel it better fits with what we're trying to achieve. Obviously, a straight sponsorship grant, as identified in the officers' reports, would not be a good fit, given that the KBCCI has already received funding, so it would be in breach of our guidelines for a sponsorship grant. However, a partnership, given the importance and the nature of this project and the benefits to the activation of one of our CBDs in the community, is a worthwhile project and one that I'd like to see council support. So a partnership arrangement will allow us to achieve this.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Councillor Johnson? Passing that. Okay. Speaker against? Speaker for? Speaker against? Speaker for? Just before the mover has the right of reply. Well done to the KBCCI's Activate KB program. It's already under full swing. Already seeing some good progress from that one, and also appreciate the work that has gone into that particular program, not just from the KBCCI, but also from council and our commitment there as well. Councillor Winner, you have the opportunity to reply.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to echo the comments that you've just made. I think so far the programs that have been rolled out has been really beneficial for our community and has seen a really good bump in numbers into that space, as well into our retail sector, particularly along the Kalgoorlie-Hannon Street area. I'd love to see projects like this extended into the future, and there's a great blueprint for this to see this rolled out across Kalgoorlie CBD and the Boulder CBD, so it's a very exciting partnership opportunity for our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. No dissent from that discussion, councillors. Carried 5-0. Thank you. May we have Councillor Bodica, Councillor Viskovich and the Deputy Mayor back on the phone, please. Item 15.2.7, proposed scheme amendment, number 1, lots 337 to 342 Forest Street, Boulder, and 343 to 346 Havelock Street, Boulder. Do we have a mover for the officer recommendation? Move, Councillor Turner. Seconder, Councillor Winner. Councillor Turner, you wish to speak to 15.2.7?
Yes, I will speak to the motion. So for me, this makes sense given that the lack of objections when it was advertised, and also that we have a shortage of light industry land. So that if we can delete the respective R codes and make these changes, I think that'll perhaps make a difference, and it might be able to stimulate some further industrial businesses to be able to open, and some expansion of some other businesses.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillor Winner, is the seconder?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll keep mine very brief. Again, I hope all councillors support the officer recommendation of this particular motion. Our city needs land for light industry, and this motion will allow us to provide this opportunity for our community and for further investment into our community. So I do hope it is supported by all councillors. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Speaker against? Councillor Johnson.
Not speaking against, just a point of clarification.
Question. What is your question that I should consider,
The question
Councillor
being
Johnson?
that because council's going to initiate this, we'll be following the advertising and getting it out there in the public comment. And any development that occurs in this area, Mr Mayor, does then that all come back to the city for approval all the way through, even if it's rezoned light industrial? Can that change at all?
I will direct your question to the CEO, who will direct it to the Acting Director of Development and Growth to answer your question.
Through the Mayor, I think the question basically is asking that should the scheme amendment be successful and a subdivision is created or not on those blocks, that any development within light industry zoned land would have to come back to the city for development approval. If that's the case, then the answer is yes.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Does that answer your question? Yes, it will come back.
Mr Mayor, will that come back if light industrial doesn't come back? Will anything else that may be proposed in that area come back to the city?
If it's not, it'll have to go through another scheme amendment, but I would get the Acting Director while he's there to answer that question. He hasn't gone far.
Yes, through the Mayor. If this scheme amendment is not successful, then the zone doesn't change. It remains the same and the R codes stay in place.
Thank you.
Not quite what I was chasing. If the zone amendment does go forward and it is zone light industrial, can that be changed? Does light industrial fit things like road realignment, or does that fall into those categories, something which could be canvassed under light industrial?
I think you would have to find that particular rezoning would be for a road reserve if that's what you're trying to move to. And is that potentially what you're trying to say, Councillor Johnson, just so I can clarify for the Director so we're not toing and froing?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just that if this goes through, what else can it be used for if it's not light industrial?
If it's not, presume it would be just light industrial. Acting Director, sorry.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. There was a schedule of uses provided to officers within light industrial land, and those range of uses are the ones that can be considered for light industrial. If council wanted in the future to realign the road, then basically the scheme would have to change and there'd have to be a road reserve proposed and gazetted.
Got there. Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Do you wish to speak for or against against the motion? No, thank you. Speaker for? Speaker against? Mover has the right of reply. Councillor Turner.
I'd just like to thank Councillor Winner for his comments and also Councillor Johnson for his questions. And as it states in there, that it does have to go to the Minister and it does have to be advertised. So there's still some way to go before this happens, and that any development that does happen out there, thank Councillor Johnson for his questions to clarify that, will still have to come back to council. So it's not just a free-for-all of gets changed and people can do whatever they want industrial-wise.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Councillors, no dissent to this particular item. Carried 8-0. Item 15.2.8, change of use to operate an indoor gym facility at 1 of 12 Federal Road, South Kalgoorlie. Do we have a mover for the officer recommendation? Councillor Winner to move. Seconder for the officer recommendation. Councillor Viskovich. Councillor Winner, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to thank the officers for the information provided at last week's agenda briefing session. For myself, that did answer a lot of the questions that I had in regard to what was being proposed in this motion. Much like some of the other motions we've had today and the ones that we've approved on block, this is a great opportunity for yet another business to invest into our community and to look at ways to provide another service. It's very exciting to see what's being proposed in this recommendation, noting that there's a maximum of 36 patrons and 2 staff at any given time. I know there were concerns in regards to parking, but I feel that that is met in item 6 of the officer's recommendation. And I do hope councillors do support this motion moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. Councillor Viskovich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too will be supporting the officer's recommendation. I believe I was a little concerned with the noises that could have come from a gym. However, the times that we have now been advised of class times, I don't think we should have any concerns. And it's, again, a great opportunity for another business to thrive in Kalgoorlie.
Thank you, Councillor Viskovich. Speaker against the motion? Speaker for? Councillor Turner.
So I too will be supporting this motion, and I think that there were some very valid questions that were asked in our agenda briefing, and I'd like to thank the proponents of the development for being very proactive. They obviously watched the agenda briefing and they came back with answers to a lot of questions that councillors had that I'm sure reassured us, because when we looked at the opening hours, I'm sure all of us were concerned that there could have possibly been a parking issue out there, but they addressed that in their answers to their questions, so I'd like to thank that. I think we do have to be proactive and supportive of when there's a change of use, to have a good look at it, look at all of it, not pigeonhole where businesses can be, and to support those changes of use, because we want as many businesses to open in our city and we want them to thrive and we want our city to grow. And if we aren't open to looking at some of those change of uses, we will be limiting what businesses can open, because they are, for a business the size of this, there is limited opportunities.
Thank you, Councillor Turner. Speaker against? Speaker for? Councillor Bodica.
Yeah, I'd like to support the motion too, please. I was originally a bit concerned about the parking and the noise, but, you know, I think that this is a really good proposal, and I congratulate the people that are going ahead with the business, because, I mean, it's going to help the fabric of the community, keep us fit, and I think it's a really good way to go ahead. Thank
you, Councillor Bodica. Speaker against? Speaker for? Councillor Johnson.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I do speak for it. I still have concerns about the parking in this area here. Access and parking, we're looking at 24 parking bays, and I was down there the other day and most of those parking bays out the front were full. So I believe that that there's shared access from adjoining lot 14 Federal Road, and I think that would need to be closely looked at and monitored. So those in the area, their amenity is not affected in any way. I think it's a great thing to have new businesses come in, and hopefully we'll hear nothing about any issues with parking. So we'll support it.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Speaker against? Speaker for? Before the mover has the right of reply, I will be voting for this particular motion, noting that the times that have been brought back to us last week, we had many concerns about parking, but those class times are probably not at peak times for those surrounding areas. The mover has the right of reply. Councillor Winner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank the Mayor and councillors around the table for their comments and for what appears to be their support towards this motion and the proposal. Again, it's very important that we as a city are looking at ways to assist our community to grow and to attract business and to continue to provide improved livability within our community. And I feel this motion in particular goes a good way towards achieving that. So again, thank you to councillors.
Thank you, Councillor Winner. No dissent, councillors? Carried 8-0. 15.3 was part of the en bloc for the reports. Item 16, questions of which due notice has been given. There are nil. Item 17, we have one confidential item to consider this evening. Councillors, for members of the press and those in the gallery, may we please ask you to depart the room? Should be just a... Item 17.1 was a confidential item for council to consider. The motion as presented, or the recommendation, is that council approve the application for 17.1 under the city event sponsorship program in accordance with the confidential recommendation contained in the report. It was moved by Councillor Winner, seconded by Councillor Turner, and carried 8-0. The date of the next meeting is on the 16th of September 2024, and I'll take the opportunity to thank staff, thank you councillors, Deputy Mayor who's still with us via phone, thank you very much, and close tonight's meeting at 8:32, and have a very enjoyable Monday night from what's left of it. Thank you councillors, and thank you staff, members of the public, viewers.